Hello, my crafty friends, and welcome to our day one of our 5 days of gift giving. Today, we're going to make some cute gift card holders. So each day I'll have a different theme. So it runs from today through Saturday. So you have 5 days of projects. You can get the project tutorial for free with any $50 purchase in my online store. It's just my way of sharing how to make these ideas. These are things that you can quickly do at a moment's notice. Grab your craft supplies and go ahead and make the projects. Again, you can get the PDF tutorial for free for all the projects we'll be doing this week when you spend $50 in my online store. Easy peasy, right? And I'll be emailed directly to you when I see your order come in. All right, I'm going to flip down my camera and we're going to start on our first card holder. All right, so our first card holder is going to be using our Festive Friends. You can use whatever stamp set you have. I'm also using our what is this? Traditions of Christmas Designer Series paper. So I'll be using this paper throughout the week. And actually, we're going to be making more of a masculine card. So I am using our little plaid side here. Sorry, that light was right in my face. Okay, so now I have a scrap piece of white here that I need to do my stamping on. So I'm going to do my stamping first, and then I'll go ahead and do our other stuff. And where did my banner go? Okay. So I've die cut my banner, my label already, and I used my traditional label dies. So that comes as a bundle. So it comes with sentiments and the labels, or you can just get the labels, totally up to you. But one of the labels here does fit these two curved greetings. All right, so let's put that aside because I won't be needing that. And we'll get our paper out too. So our paper's all here. Let's get our stamp. I've chosen to use our little elf here. I haven't used him quite as much. I've used the other images a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my elf with black Memento ink. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to be using my blends. Hopefully you took opportunity to stock up on blends during the Black Friday sale. And here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and use, this is the SU 700 for his, I'm going to use that for his skin tone here. I'll show you some other various elves I've made. All right. So we're just going to color his little face in. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and take my old olive here. And this is my dark old olive, and I'm just going to put the creases in the hat right here. I'm going to go along underneath his chin. And then the sides of his little suit. A little on the bottom too. Why not? All right. Then I'm going to take my dark Secret Sea, and I'm going to color his little shoes and middies in. The reason I'm using Old Olive and Secret Sea is because it coordinates with the colors in this Designer Series paper. And this is going to be for one of my sons anyways, so I'm just going to do that. Okay. And then we'll come back in with my light Old Olive. Okay, I have to take that little headpiece off because it was bonking my camera as I was leaning in here. All right. So you can see that blends together, and so I'm just pulling my dark into my light areas. You can color these whatever you like. I said I just happen to use these colors because they match our paper. All right, so there we go. All right, and then I'll die cut him. Now, I did it in advance, and I accidentally colored the top of his hat there. So I am going to re-die cut this while we're in the video. So let me just bring that in. Sometimes I try to have these pieces done ahead of time so that our video is much shorter. All right. So here we go. I just love this little set. I've been using it a lot. And it's great if you pair it with another stamp set called Snowflake Kisses. It's great for all year. You know, you can do it, well, not all year, but, you know, winter and Christmas. You don't just have to use it for Christmas. All right, so let's take a look at some of the other ones I've done. I've done a little Santa. I put them in a little clear envelope so I have them handy. All right. And, you know, we might be able to even use this. Let's see. Let's see how it will look. Oh, that's going to look fine. All right. We'll have to see how tall it is. I've got another little elf here. Another little Santa. I use a ton of snowmen. This one has a little bit of our Winkastella. I think this might be... No. Okay. We'll see if that tree fits. All right. Put my bits and pieces back in here. And what I do is after I've die cut these out and I have these extras that I've colored, again, I store them in my little clear bag, my clear envelope, which you can actually purchase my online store. And I just keep this right in the stamp case. Open it up. Here's my dies. And here's my little container of things, just like that. Boom. Easy storage. Okay, next step. We're going to do some scoring here. And just looking for my little note that I had to make sure I score this right place. Okay. We're done with all those. I'm just trying to move those out of my way. All right, so I take our trimmer. And I'm going to score those at 2.5 inches. And then at 6 inches. Okay. And I've got this at 2.5. This is going to be my belly band. So I'm just doing one score real quick. All right. I'm going to take these pieces here and just fold them in. I'm going to get my bone folder here. All right, and this does overlap a little bit. So let's go ahead and put our pieces on here. And I just need my seal. So I've got these two right here. Just like so. And then I'm going to have this one right on the inside, but I do need to put a little punch here. Now you can use a circle punch or you can use whatever punch you happen to have. But what we need to do is give our recipients a way to pull their gift card out. All right, so there we go. So now when I put this on, I am going to use strong adhesive. So tear and tape is going to be your friend this week. I'm going to put this along both sides. And hopefully I'm not going out of the video. Usually I have it, I'm usually live so I can see it at the same time. So I always am in video. But today I'm pre-recording these. All right. And so I'm going to stick this right in the inside. Lasso. And take my gift card. I know. It's just whatever gift card I happen to have laying around. And I can just slide that in just like that. I'm going to take a piece of white. And this is actually where I'm going to stamp my sentiment on. So let's go ahead and I'm going to pull in the traditional labels. And I'm going to stamp Sending Love and Joy. And I'm going to do that in my Secret C. Actually, you know, we're going to do it in Old Olive because I'm going to put some little snowflakes on there. So we'll stamp in Old Olive. Again, carrying the colors in from the Designer Series paper. So I would like my Sending Love and Joy. Actually, I lied. I just decided spur the moment that I want to do Merry Christmas instead. So Merry Christmas. There we go. All right, that's gonna. So I'm gonna put Christmas on one side of my block, Merry on the other side of my block. And we'll stamp Christmas. I want to stamp it high enough up so that I can sign it. So we'll stamp Merry first. Merry. And now Christmas. I want Merry Christmas to be at a slight little angle. All right, there we go. And we're going to take our snowflake right from this stamp set here. Stamp a couple of snowflakes in our Secret C. And I'll stamp a couple down here. There we go. I'm going to leave that out because I might use that on the front. But now I can go ahead and adhere this right to the inside. You can do it to the top, you can do the bottom. I'm going to do it to the bottom here. All right, so then when I open it, it's like that. Let's get our another strip of designer paper here and put it on the top. I like to kind of flip my flap down so that I can see where it's going to be lined up there. All right, so now we have that. Now I have my label here. I have my little elf. I need my to and from. So I've got a little to and from stamp in here. I'm going to take that. And we'll stamp that in Secret C. And we're going to stamp it right. Oh, well, I guess I'm going right there because I accidentally put it down. All right, so there we go. We'll grab some dimensionals here and put our elf on our card here. Okay, to and from. I decided not to use that tree. Okay. We're almost done. Now we're going to take our belly band, our strip here, and I'm just going to find the side I wrapped around. So I'm just going to wrap this around, and I want to have it loose. All right, so by loose, I mean I can slide it. Not that I mean like falling off loose, but it just needs to be able to slide on and off. So I'll take some tear and tape here. I'm just going to put it right on the end. So, whoop. Flinging everything around today. All right. There we go. So now I have this. What I like to do when I'm making a belly band is I like to put my dimensionals on my belly band. So what I'll do is, depending on how wide this is, I'll kind of leave it next to it, and then I'll put my dimensionals on. So I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. All right, then I will pick this up and I'll layer it right on, and that's so. And now I can slide that out, and here we go. If you'd like, you can also round your corners, but this is super easy and quick. You don't have to have a lot of tools to make this. Yeah, you can just do it really quick. It took a little longer in the video because I was explaining step by step, but have fun with this one. Our next one is going to be a multiple gift card holder. So let's just slide that back on, and we'll get the next project going in just a moment. Okay, for our second gift card holder, we're going to need a designer series paper measured 12 inches by 6.5. I just need to pull out my ribbon here. Well, we're going to be making one that looks like this. All right, and inside are the pockets for all your gift cards. So I guess I'll have to get another piece of ribbon. Hopefully I have my ribbon out here. Okay, on this particular one, I am using this really pretty paper here. I'm going to recommend that you use a paper that is double-sided for sure. The other thing is you need to make sure that you have non-directional paper, all right? So if you have a piece of directional paper, what can happen is if you don't fold it right, so for example, if I were to fold this other direction, my trees would be upside down. So I'm using non-directional paper. Let's cut this in half. And we're going to score this at 3, 6, and 9. Make sure you're using your scoring blade. Now, with designer series paper, when you are scoring, you want to make sure that you get a good score, but you don't want to push too hard because you don't want to rip your designer series paper, okay? I like using the Stampin' Up's paper because it is nice and heavy. I've used other cheaper paper before, and yeah, it doesn't work as well. So I always stick with my Stampin' Up paper. This happens to be specialty paper, so it's a little thicker. So I'm just going to go back and forth several times. And I'll just flip this around and do this at 3 inches again. Just for the sake of, I didn't feel like pulling out my arm on my trimmer here. All right, then I'm going to change this to the 12-inch side, and I'm going to go to 2 inches. All right, so now I'm bringing my bone folder again, and you decide which way you want. If you want this on the outside, so this will be on the outside, or this on the outside. I want this to be on the outside. My poinsettia's there. So I'm going to fold this up just like that. And then I'm going to take my next one. I'm going to fold each one of these along my score line. I can't see my score lines real well. All right, where's this other score line here? We'll just fold that right in half. Okay, now when I do that, I'm also going to fold it back, and we're making an accordion fold. So this will be our front. So we'll fold that one in. Just burnish it as we go on each step here. Alright. I'm doing this so I have nice, sharp, crisp scores. All right, just like that. I'm going to bring in my mossy meadow and gold trim here. You need about, oh, I would say 16 to 20 inches, however far it takes your bow, you know, however much you need to tie your bow. So there's a gold side and the other side is mossy meadow. So I'm not going to be in particular on which one I'm going to use. I'm just going to trim this down. Move that out of my way. Now I'm going to tie my bow in front, but I'm going to move it off to my side in just a moment. I'm leaving enough of my tail because this is going to be, you know, untied and tied again. So we want to make sure that we have a long enough tail. All right. So now I can just slide this over. All right. This will just hold the gift card holder closed. All right. So then we have it just like that. We're going to do some stamping on our front. So I've gone ahead and done my die cutting with my traditional label dies. And we're going to be using this stamp set. So I'm going to just find my stamp set that I put off to the side. All right. We'll grab our old olive ink. And I'm going to stamp our Season's Greetings. You could take some of the other ones too and fit them on there if you want. But I'm going to use Season's Greetings. When you're using photopolymer stamps, you can kind of bend them so they'll fit, but these are designed to fit right on here. And you just have to turn it the right direction so your label will sit there. There we go. Voila. Nope, I guess that stamp pad needs to be inked. Okay, and I'm going to put this right on the front at an angle just like that, quick and easy, because you know, last minute gifts. Someone called and said, yep, I'm going to make it this year. Yay, I'm going to be over at your house for Christmas. So now we're like, ooh, we need an extra gift. Send someone to the store to buy your gift cards. Get your gift card holder made. And there you go. And they'll think you planned it all along. All right, so I'm just putting it at an angle because now my bow will fit right next to it, just like that. Now you can use any of the other different ones if you want to use one of the other dies and sentiments. So I'm just going to open this again. And now I have places for all my gift cards. To make sure my gift cards stay in place and they don't slide out, I'm going to use my tear and tape just on these two edges right here. Okay, so I've got my tear and tape here. I am going to be pulling in another sentiment set because it does have some images on there. So I've got tear and tape here and tear and tape here. All right. And we'll peel that off. Now you can use this for 4 gift card holders or 3. I am going to be putting a sentiment in there, so I'm just going to have 3 gift card holders in there, or 3 gift cards. So I'm going to pull in my Jolly Holly stamp set because I just want to use some of these little things right here. So I've got a couple labels already made. I've already die cut. So now I'm just going to see where I want to have those. We'll have this one here. And looks like I may need one more. Okay. And so we're going to do, I'm going to use one more. Let's see. We're going to use all the same size labels. So let's go ahead and cut a couple more labels here. As soon as I find my dies. Okay, we'll move this out of the way. And we're going to grab the same one I just need 2 more here. Grab in our die cut machine. And we'll whip out 2 labels really quick. What I like to do, and here's a little hint, is a lot of times if I'm like in a crafty mood but I don't know what I want to craft, I'll take some of my labels, my die labels, and I will just cut out a bunch of them. Usually by the time I'm done cutting them out, I'll come up with some idea. So I'll take a half sheet of my white cardstock or my vanilla or even my basic beige, and I will cut out a bunch of labels, and then I just keep a little box that I've made full of my labels. Put this back away so I don't lose that. All right, and we'll bring this back in. All right, so now I have my 4 labels. I kind of wanted them to be all the same, so that's why I did that. All right, so on a couple of them, we'll stamp our little holly berries and our poinsettias there. I'm not going to use the bells. The bells would be great for a wedding card, so you could do this even for a wedding or a birthday. And no, I won't do the birthday song. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to grab my black Memento pad again. I'm going to stamp one there. Stamp it over here. It doesn't have to be perfectly on the paper either. All right, so now let's get some colors in. I'm going to go ahead and bring in, let's see, we'll use Old Olive here for my leaves. I'm just going to color them all one color. I could use the light and dark. I'll show you on one of the other ones. All right, if I was going to use both light and dark, I would just take my dark right here and then come back in with my light. And pull the dark up into the white. So when it's a small little pattern like this, sometimes it's really even hard to see that there. Let's see. So now let's go ahead and take, we'll use our real red, because I believe that's the color in here. So I'm just going to look on the back of my paper and make sure, and it's, oh, cherry cobbler. So we'll grab our cherry cobbler blends here. And oops, that's not the end we want to use. This is the end we want to use. All right, and then I'll show you what coloring the light and dark in a smaller area. So I'm just putting a little bit of the dark on there. Then I'll bring in my light. Oh, and this one's dried out. Good thing I have an extra. Yep, and these do eventually run out. You'll have to replace them. And hopefully, like I said, you were able to take advantage of the Black Friday sale that Stampin' Up! Had and stocked up on your blends. They were 40% off. Again, you can get the this tutorial for free, which I have all the measurements and instructions and pictures and all that good stuff. list of all the materials that I've used, all the products I've used. I kind of like, maybe I'll go this way. What do you think? All right, so now let's grab this. And, okay, I think we'll have a Happy Merry Christmas. You can use whatever things you want. And maybe you just want to have that. And that's totally fine. You can do that too. So let's go ahead and grab these. And I'm going to stamp this in Old Olive. So we'll grab our, where is it? Where is my, okay, Happy. Old Olive. Actually, in this one, I'm going to stamp that in Cherry Cobbler. I'm going to alternate my colors. So I'll clean this off real quick. Okay, so we've got Happy. Oh, I was going to do have a. All right. So I need my have a. Where's my have a? All right. So let's put this on this block. Have a happy. Get these two clean. And happy, and then we'll do merry. Oh, that one needs to be in. I'm alternating my colors, so I wasn't paying attention. This needs to be happy. What did I? Okay. Mary there. Oh, that didn't stamp very well. User error. Oh, that one's in green again too. I don't know why I did that. And I'm alternating the colors based on what my image was colored. Happy Merry Christmas. Now, the last one I'm leaving blank because that way I can put my name and I can say Love Beth. So let's go ahead and just do that. I'm going to grab my pen. And I happen to have my Cherry Cobbler marker here. I don't use my markers too much, and Stampin' Up! Is phasing out markers. So there are some markers still available. They are on our last chance list, so make sure if you like markers that you get them. And I'll just put Love. Love Beth. All right, so now I can just take all these and put them right in center there. All right, let's close up our card here. Here we go. Super easy peasy. Now, if you wanted to, you could use the little festive friends and stamp those and put them on. I will actually be making some alternate examples and posting them on my Facebook page and on my blog, my website. So if you want to go and check them out, They'll be there by the end of the week. All right. So let's bring in our 2 gift card holders for today. So we have our little festive friends and then our more elegant gift card holder that holds multiple gift cards. Hope you enjoyed today, and come back and join me again tomorrow for our day 2 of our 5 days of Christmas. Bye.